Multiplying and dividing powers of 10. First, let's take a look here at our multiplication problem. Here we have 4 85/100ths times 10 to the third power. Multiplying by 10 to the third power means that our decimal will move right 3 places or 3 hops. Talked about that in the previous video. When you multiply, it goes to the right, and your exponent, the 3, tells us how many places we'll be moving, or 3 hops. What exactly do I mean by that? Let's take a look here. My decimal started here, and a hop goes in between two numbers, and it goes here in between the 8 and the 5, then it goes after the 5, and we actually had to add a 0 in there to hold its place. So when you multiply 4 85/100ths times 10 to the third, it equals 4,850. You can see here again how I labeled my hops, or my moving my place across. Now what if we take the same numbers except we do division? Okay, so it's very similar, but it's different. The one key difference we'll see here in a second. We have 4 85/100ths divided by 10 to the third power. So dividing by 10 to the third means that our decimal will move left. So whenever we divide, it goes to the left. Again, 3 places or 3 hops. So it started here, and it hopped 1 to the left. Oh, now we're out of numbers, so now we need to put some zeros in. Our second hop and our third hop. I usually do these little loops or these little hops underneath, and I go back in and I fill in my zeros. And you can see our answer here. We stopped here, and then anytime you have a decimal such as that, you always put a 0 in front to make sure that you don't forget about your decimal point. So this would be 0 and 485/100,000ths. Alright, I have one of each that we'll try together, and then I have 2 for you to try. So we have this number here. We have 624 and 183,000ths times 10 to the second power. Now there's 2 keys that we're looking for here, and that it's times, so I know that I'm moving to the right, and my exponent means how many hops to the right I am moving. Now what I typically do is I just take the problem right here, and I go, that's 1 hop, 2 hop, and then I draw it in, and then you just go ahead and rewrite your new number. So it's 62,418 and 3/10. Again, multiply goes to the right. Our exponent was 2, so we went 2 hops, or we moved 2 place values to the right. Now we look over here, we have 5,374 and 19/100ths divided by 10 to the third. Now our keys here, we have division. Division means we are now moving our decimal to the left. And how many places? 3. So we started our decimal. 1, 2, 3. So there's where it ends up. You can see here our answer is 37,419/100,000ths. Now it's not so much that we can say the number properly, we're really focusing on our decimal and how it moves. So again, since it was to the third power and it was division, it moved to the left, you can see here, and I do highly suggest drawing these little hops, as I call them, as we're hopping across the different place values to get our answer. So again, there's 2 for you to try. All right. What if there are no decimals? Okay, well, though 429 does not have a decimal, there actually is one, and our decimal kind of hides to the right of the ones place. So 429 I could rewrite as 429.0. Now I have that decimal that I need. Now I look at my problem, I have multiplication, so I'm going to the right. How many hops? My exponent is 3, so I'm going 3 to the right. So I will go 1, 2, 3, draw in my decimal point. I will need to fill in those spots with zeros to hold the place value. I rewrite it. And then we would read that 429,000. Now let's look over here at our division problem. Since it is division, we know that we are moving now to the left. How many hops? And our exponent is 3, so we need to move this. Wait a second, we don't have a decimal. Oh, that's right. Just like before, we could rewrite this 6.0, then we could just come in and hop it 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3. Rewrite it, and we get 3 and 476 thousandths. Again, I have 2 for you to try. In case you forgot, here's our video that we used for 6.1, where we introduced the basics of powers of 10. And we have multiplying and dividing decimals by powers of 10. We move the decimal based on the exponent. Multiply, we move it to the right. Divide, we move it left. So another way to say that, times equals hop decimal to the right, and divide equals hop decimal to the left. Here's just a few example problems. Again, the star means exponent. That was our way to show an exponent. 1 and 3 are division. And you can see how we did 2 and 4. Now here's some for you to try.